In the vast expanse of Eastern Europe and Northern Asia, the narrative of nations unfolds like a tapestry woven with threads of pride, pain, and the incessant struggle for identity. Russia, a colossal entity with a history steeped in grandeur and turmoil, stands at the center of this intricate design. The echoes of its past resonate through its borders, reverberating in the lives of its neighbors, Ukraine, Georgia, and Chechnya, each grappling with their own sense of self-worth and national identity. At the heart of this narrative lies a complex interplay of inferiority and superiority complexes, both on the individual and national levels, shaping the very essence of what it means to belong. To understand the depths of this inferiority complex, one must first delve into the historical context that has forged the identity of these nations. Russia, with its sweeping landscapes and rich cultural heritage, often views itself as the guardian of Slavic unity and the heir to a grand imperial legacy. However, this self-image is frequently challenged by the realities of its relationships with neighboring countries. The dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991 marked a significant turning point. Suddenly, former Soviet republics like Ukraine and Georgia found themselves navigating their newfound independence, often at odds with a Russia that perceived their autonomy as a threat. The sense of loss, both territorial and psychological, fostered a complex where Russia felt compelled to assert its dominance, leading to conflicts that would further exacerbate feelings of inferiority among its neighbors. In Ukraine, the struggle for identity has been particularly poignant. The historical ties to Russia are undeniable, yet the desire for independence and alignment with Western powers has created a rift that cuts deep. The annexation of Crimea in 2014 and the ongoing conflict in the Donbas region have not only highlighted Russia's territorial ambitions, but have also unearthed a profound sense of insecurity within the Ukrainian populace. The narrative of being lesser, of being overshadowed by a larger neighbor, has fueled a fierce determination to assert their own national pride. Ukrainians often find themselves caught in a tug-of-war between their historical ties to Russia and their aspirations for a future aligned with Europe. This internal conflict mirrors the larger struggle of nations grappling with their identity in the face of external pressures. Georgia, too, has faced its share of trials. The brief war in 2008 and the subsequent recognition of South Ossetia and Abkhazia as independent states by Russia have left scars that run deep. The Georgians, proud of their unique culture and history, have had to confront the reality of living in the shadow of a powerful neighbor. The inferiority complex manifests in the constant battle for recognition and respect on the international stage. As they seek closer ties with the West, Georgian leaders grapple with the fear that their aspirations might be stifled by Russia's looming presence. The emotional toll of feeling lesser is palpable. It drives a relentless pursuit of validation, both domestically and abroad. Chechnya presents a particularly harrowing chapter in this narrative. The struggle for independence from Russia has been marked by violence and tragedy, with the Chechen people enduring immense suffering. The war in the 1990s and the subsequent brutal crackdown by Russian forces have left an indelible mark on the Chechen psyche. The inferiority complex here is twofold. Not only is there a sense of being oppressed by a dominant power, but there is also a struggle for self-identity amidst the chaos. The Chechen leadership, under Ramzan Kadyrov, has sought to project an image of strength and resilience, often leveraging a narrative of pride to counteract the historical wounds. Yet, beneath this facade lies a deep-seated vulnerability, a recognition of the fragility of their existence in a world that often overlooks their plight. The West pretends that it wants to bring democracy. It's only a republic. It plays in dirty games with other countries. The wars boost its military complex. By inferiority complex, I mean the attitude that comes from the Baltic countries. If your country is small, it does not mean that you should hate bigger ones. The influence of Western powers further complicates this dynamic. As Russia grapples with its historical narrative, the West often serves as both a beacon of hope and a source of resentment. The allure of Western democracy and prosperity is enticing for many in these nations, yet it also breeds feelings of inadequacy. The perception that the West favors certain countries over others can exacerbate the inferiority complex, leading to a sense of betrayal and confusion. For Russia, the encroachment of Western influence in former Soviet territories is seen not just as a loss of control, but as an affront to its national pride. The push and pull of Western engagement create a volatile atmosphere where the desire for alignment with the West clashes with the historical narrative of Russian supremacy. In light of these complexities, the question of whether Russia should concede territory in response to external pressures becomes a poignant one. On one hand, conceding territory might be viewed as an act of weakness, a surrender to the perceived inferiority that has haunted the nation since the fall of the Soviet Union. On the other hand, it could be seen as a pragmatic approach to foster stability and rebuild relationships with its neighbors. The motivations behind such decisions are often steeped in emotion, driven by a desire to protect national pride while acknowledging the realities of a changing geopolitical landscape. Ultimately, the narrative of inferiority is not confined to borders. It permeates the hearts and minds of individuals. Each nation, in its quest for identity and recognition, grapples with the ghost of the past and the hopes for the future. The struggle between feeling lesser and asserting one's worth is a universal theme, echoing through the corridors of history. As Russia and its neighbors navigate this complex terrain, the interplay of pride, pain, and the quest for identity will continue to shape their destinies, reminding us that the journey towards self-acceptance is fraught with challenges, yet essential for forging a collective future. In the end, it is not merely about territory, but about the dignity and recognition that every nation seeks in a world that often measures worth by size and influence.